Dry van. The dry van is the most common trailer on the highway. A sealed aluminum box 53 feet long, 102 inches wide, and 13 feet 6 inches tall. Its walls use a semi-monocoque design, where the aluminum panels and internal vertical logistics posts act as structural members rather than relying on a central I-beam frame running beneath the floor. Those posts are spaced every 12 to 24 inches and incorporate E-track or A-track slots for load bars and straps that prevent cargo from shifting laterally during transit. The floor holds 26 standard 48 by 40-inch pallets in a single layer, or 52 when double stacked, at a maximum freight weight of 45,000 pounds. A high cube variant achieves an internal height of 110 inches by combining a thinner roof section with lower profile wheels, while remaining within the 13-foot 6-inch exterior limit, gaining enough vertical space to accommodate an additional tier of palletized goods. Loading occurs exclusively from the rear, through barn-style doors, at a dock raised to trailer floor height. The trailer is the standard unit of the less-than-truckload industry, where freight from multiple shippers is consolidated into a single movement across the same route. Flatbed. The flatbed trailer is an open platform with no walls, no roof, and no rear enclosure, running 48 to 53 feet in length with a deck sitting 60 inches off the ground. Maximum payload is 48,000 pounds across a flat steel or aluminum deck with no superstructure above it. Cargo is secured with chains, binders, and nylon straps running across the load and anchored to stake pockets along the trailer's outer rails, with edge protectors placed wherever the restraints contact the freight. Weather-sensitive loads require canvas tarps pulled over the top and strapped down along the sides. Loading is performed from any direction, by crane from above, by forklift from either side, or by sliding material onto the deck from the rear. Steel coils, structural beams, lumber, precast concrete sections, and large machinery all move on open decks. The absence of walls sets no constraint on cargo width up to the legal maximum of 8 feet 6 inches, and no constraint on loading angle, making the platform usable for any freight with a flat or cradle-able base. Refrigerated trailer. The refrigerated trailer is an insulated enclosed box fitted with a diesel-powered refrigeration unit mounted on its front wall, maintaining internal temperatures between -20 degrees Fahrenheit and 80 degrees Fahrenheit throughout transit. The walls, floor, and roof are packed with polyurethane foam insulation several inches thick. The floor is constructed from vented aluminum T-rail channels, a grid of inverted ridges that hold pallets above the floor surface and leave channels for conditioned air to flow beneath the cargo. The refrigeration unit forces air through a flexible chute running along the ceiling from front to rear, distributing temperature evenly across the full interior length before the air circulates back along the floor. Payload capacity runs between 43,500 and 44,000 pounds, roughly 1,000 to 1,500 pounds, less than a comparable dry van, reflecting the weight of the insulation package and refrigeration engine. Modern units transmit internal temperature data continuously to remote monitoring systems, logging readings at intervals throughout the journey. The trailer's internal temperature range covers fresh produce, dairy, meat, and frozen goods at the lower end, and certain pharmaceuticals across the mid-range of the operating band. Step deck. The step deck trailer runs at 2 deck heights across its length. A short upper deck sits above the trailer's landing gear at approximately 60 inches off the ground, matching standard flatbed height. Behind the front axle, the deck drops to approximately 36 inches, forming the main lower platform that runs between 37 and 40 feet to the rear axles. The transition between levels is a steel ramp section connecting the two surfaces. Total payload capacity matches a standard flatbed at 48,000 pounds. The lower deck height provides up to 10 feet of usable cargo clearance within standard legal limits, compared to 8 feet 6 inches on a flatbed. Cargo is secured using the same chain, strap, and stake pocket system as a standard flatbed, applied across both deck levels independently. Industrial machinery, large generators, agricultural equipment, and construction components, too tall for a standard flatbed, but below the threshold requiring a permitted move travel on the lower deck. The upper section carries lighter freight or serves as a staging area for securing hardware. Removable gooseneck and lowboy. The lowboy trailer positions its main deck between 18 and 24 inches off the ground, achieved by routing the frame below the level of the axles rather than above them. The front of the trailer curves upward through the gooseneck section, climbing from the low deck height to the fifth wheel connection point on the tractor. On a removable gooseneck configuration, That curved front section detaches from the main deck using a hydraulic pin system. With the gooseneck removed, the front of the trailer frame rests on the ground at a shallow angle, forming a drive-on ramp. Once cargo is positioned on the deck, the gooseneck reattaches and hydraulic rams raise the front of the frame back to operating height. Standard lowboy configurations carry up to 80,000 pounds. Multi-axle builds using additional rear assemblies called boosters and front assemblies called jeeps distribute weight across more contact points and carry permitted loads exceeding 150,000 pounds. The deck well between the axle groups typically runs 25 to 29 feet in usable length, with total trailer length reaching 53 feet, including the gooseneck and rear overhang. Tank trailer. The tank trailer is a cylindrical pressure vessel mounted on an axle frame, built to a specification determined by the physical and chemical properties of its intended cargo. Liquid food tankers carrying milk or juice use sanitary-grade stainless steel interiors with smooth, crevice-free welds, rated for pressure washing between loads. Chemical tankers carrying corrosive materials use rubber-lined or fiberglass-reinforced interiors resistant to chemical degradation. Petroleum tankers are divided into between 3 and 5 internal compartments, each with its own outlet valve and hose connection at the rear, allowing different fuel grades to be delivered from a single trailer without cross-contamination. All liquid tankers incorporate internal baffles, partial transverse dividers that interrupt the movement of liquid during braking and cornering without fully separating the compartments. A fully loaded petroleum tanker carries up to 9,000 gallons at a gross vehicle weight of 80,000 pounds. Pneumatic tankers, used for dry bulk materials like cement, flour, and plastic resin, operate as sealed pressure vessels fitted with aeration pads at the base of their hopper sections, running at between 12 and 15 psi to move material through a discharge pipe into receiving silos. Dump trailer. The dump trailer unloads through movement of the body rather than the frame, with 3 distinct configurations handling different materials and site conditions. The end dump raises its rectangular or oval tub from the rear using a single-acting hydraulic cylinder, tilting the box to between 45 and 60 degrees until the contents exit through the open tailgate. Tub volumes on end dump trailers reach 26 cubic yards. The side dump uses 2 or more double-acting hydraulic cylinders to tilt its one-piece sealed tub laterally, to the left or to the right, operating at between 2,500 and 2,900 psi throughout the full dump and return cycle. The tub is watertight with no tailgate, handling wet or semi-liquid material. A complete side dump cycle runs between 22 and 40 seconds. The bottom dump opens a longitudinal clamshell gate along the underside of its V-shaped hopper while the trailer moves forward, depositing material in a continuous strip across the ground beneath it. Each configuration uses a different hydraulic arrangement suited to its geometry, and each operates within the same federal weight limits, with payload volumes varying by tub size and material density. Conestoga. The Conestoga trailer is a flatbed fitted with a retractable enclosure that slides along the full deck length on a wheel and rail system. Aluminum or steel hoops are mounted on V-groove wheels that run in rails fixed to the outer edges of the flatbed deck. A heavy vinyl canopy is tensioned across those hoops and anchored at the front bulkhead and at a locking rear bow. The entire assembly slides from one end of the trailer to the other using a hand crank or winch bar, covering or uncovering 53 feet of deck in under 2 minutes. With the frame retracted to one end, the deck is accessible from directly above, allowing overhead crane loading of cargo that cannot be approached from the side or rear. The retractable frame adds approximately 4,000 pounds to the trailer's unladen weight. The vinyl canopy and frame provide full weather enclosure across the top and sides of the load without requiring the cargo to be wrapped or tarped separately. Cargo is secured to the underlying flatbed deck using the same stake pocket, strap, and chain system as a standard open flatbed, with the enclosure providing environmental protection independent of the tie-down arrangement. Curtain side. The curtain side trailer has a rigid roof, a solid front headboard, and side walls made of heavy vinyl curtain panels that run on overhead rails from one end of the trailer to the other. Each curtain slides independently along its rail, retracting to either end of the trailer or folding into a stacked section to expose any portion of the cargo area along either side. The floor is a solid flat surface with no T-rail channels, running the full interior length at dock height. Internal load bars span the width of the trailer between fixed horizontal rails on each sidewall, positioned at intervals to brace cargo against lateral movement during transit. The curtain panels, when tensioned and locked on their rails, apply a defined clamping force against the load, total payload capacity typically reaches 45,000 pounds. The trailer accepts forklift loading from ground level along either full side, without requiring a raised dock or rear approach. Curtainside trailers are the dominant trailer type across European and Australian distribution networks, where multi-drop delivery routes require repeated side access at locations without fixed dock infrastructure. Skeletal trailer. The skeletal trailer is a load-bearing steel frame with no floor, no walls, and no roof. Two parallel longitudinal rails run from the kingpin at the front to the rear axle group, connected by a series of cross members at intervals along the length. Twist lock fittings are positioned at fixed points along the frame corresponding to the corner casting locations of standard intermodal shipping containers. A 20-foot container sits on the forward section of the frame between the front and rear twist lock sets. A 40-foot or 45-foot container spans the full frame length. The twist locks engage the container's corner castings with a quarter-turn rotation, mechanically securing the box to the trailer without chains or straps. Empty weight on a skeletal trailer is substantially lower than on an equivalent enclosed trailer, reflecting the absence of flooring, wall panels, and roof structure. The frame accepts ISO standard containers in 20-foot, 40-foot, and 45-foot lengths, and some configurations use a sliding rear bogie that repositions along the rails to accommodate different container lengths on the same frame. Hotshot trailer. The hotshot trailer is a flatbed platform between 20 and 40 feet in length, towed by a Class 3 to Class 5 heavy-duty pickup truck rather than a conventional semi-tractor. The truck and trailer combination operates at a gross vehicle weight between 26,001 and 33,000 pounds, depending on the truck's axle rating and the trailer's loaded weight. Payload capacity runs between 10,000 and 20,000 pounds across the open deck, secured with straps and chains anchored to stake pockets along the trailer rails. The trailer rides on a bumper pole or gooseneck hitch, mounted in the truck's bed, with gooseneck configurations providing greater stability and higher tongue weight ratings than a standard ball hitch. Operating under this weight threshold places the combination in a different federal regulatory category than a full semi, with different hours of service and licensing requirements depending on total gross weight and whether the operation crosses state lines. The trailer and truck can depart without the pre-planning and terminal staging that a full semi-dispatch requires, with no minimum load size and no dock infrastructure needed at either end of the move.